Good morning, fourth grade friends, and welcome to day 2 of Time and Money. Today we're going to be focusing on solving problems about time. So today we're going to be doing pages 583 and 584 together, and also page 586, and then you're going to be expected to do page 588 on your own, okay? So clearly this session is called Problems About Time, so we're really not going to be worrying about money here. It's all focused on time, okay? So let's jump right on into it. Sadie spends 1.5 hours doing homework. She plays outside for 20 minutes and practices the piano for a quarter of an hour. How many more minutes does Sadie spend doing homework than practicing the piano and playing outside? So this question has a lot to it. So our goal is to figure out how much she spends doing homework, practicing the piano, and playing outside, and putting that all into minutes. That is step 1, hence multi-step problem. So we gotta do that first, and then we have to find the difference. How many more minutes does Sadie spend doing homework than practicing the piano and playing outside? So that means we're gonna have to add the totals for practicing the piano and playing outside, and using that value to compare to her doing homework. So it tells us she does 1.5 hours of homework. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes and a half hour is equal to 30 minutes, right? So we can say 60 minutes plus 30 minutes. So that means that 1.5 hours is equal to 90 minutes. So that's for her homework. Then she plays outside for 20 minutes. And she practices piano for a quarter of an hour. So quarter of an hour, we have to put that into minutes, okay? So quarter of an hour, so that means we have to do 60 divided by 4 because our denominator is 4, okay? So just off to the side, I'm going to do 60 divided by 4, and I have to think 4 times what gets me close to 60. So I know 4 times 10 is 40. I know 4 times 15 is 60. So 4 times 15, I take away 60. My remainder is 0. That means a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So if we were looking at a clock and we were dividing it into fourths, this would be 15, 15, 15, and 15. So we have 15 minutes playing the piano, or practicing the piano. So now we have to figure out how many more minutes does Sadie spend doing homework than practicing the piano and playing outside. So we need to add these two values together. So 20 minutes plus 15 minutes is equal to 35 minutes. So that's for outside and piano is 35 minutes. So now we can take this value and subtract it from this value, which is her time spent on homework, to figure out how many more minutes Sadie spends doing homework than practicing piano and playing outside. So 90 minutes, take away 35 minutes. We need to regroup. 10 take away 5 is 5. 8 take away 3 is 5. So 55 more minutes were spent on homework than practicing the piano and playing outside. So our sentence to match our answer is Sadie spends 55 minutes more. I'm just going to do HW for homework, on homework, than practicing the piano and playing outside. So she spends almost a whole hour more on homework than practicing and playing. Okay? So friends, 2 steps here, actually more like 3, because we had to first convert homework into minutes, right? Then we had to add outside playtime and practicing the piano together. And then we had to subtract that value that we got from the value we got for homework to get our final answer. So it's more like a 3-step problem here, okay? I know this is a lot, so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to go over it with you. It might also help to just read through it again and walk yourself through what we just did. But we're also going to go over the strategies on page 584. So if you have any questions that you want answered, please pause here. If not, we're going to go over our strategies on page 584. So, same problem. Sadie spends 1.5 hours doing homework, plays outside for 20 minutes, and practices the piano for 1/4 of an hour. So again, just like yesterday, we can use a bar model to help us. So the 90 minutes is how much she spends doing homework, right? And then the 20 minutes is for piano. And then the 15 minutes is for outside. And then this block here would be the difference of the homework time, okay? And then you could use, this is basically the equation we use, which is the homework minutes is equal to the playing and practicing minutes plus how many more homework minutes. So it would be 20 plus 15 plus 55, which is what we solved for H, right? We said this would be 55, should all equal 90. And if we do, 20 plus 15 is 35, plus 55 is 90, and we're able to check our work that way too, okay? So using this may help you. It may make more sense to you using a picture. However, the equation could also make more sense to you. It depends on what type of learner you are, okay? So if you do not have any questions, we're going to keep continuing on to page 586, okay? So we're going to do these practice problems together, and then you will be doing page 588 on your own. So 586, our first problem says, Coach Douglas has a soccer practice from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. The team spends 10 minutes stretching, half an hour passing the ball. The team spends the rest of the time on skills drills. How many minutes does the team spend on skill drills? So 4 o'clock, practice starts. But they want us to use this number line to figure out how much is spent on skill drills in this practice. So from 4 to 4:10, so 10 minutes. I'm just going to put an S for stretching, okay? And then the next 30 minutes or half an hour, right? Half an hour is equal to 30 minutes because half of 60 is 30. So the next 30 minutes are spent passing the ball. So let's just say here, so this is 30 minutes of pass. So 4:10 plus 30 minutes puts us at 4:40. Now, we have this leftover time for skill drills. So from 4:40 to 5:15, how many minutes is that? Well, we have 4:40, then we have 4:50, 4:60 would be 5 o'clock, right? So we have 20 minutes before 5. And then we have 15 minutes after 5. So we have 20 minutes before 5 plus 15 minutes after 5. 20 plus 15 is 35, so that means this right here has to be 35 minutes, right? And we can check that by figuring out how long practice is and seeing if our 3 values add up. So soccer practice runs from 4 to 5:15, so that's 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'm just gonna write up here for space friends, so we have 1 hour and 15 minutes of practice. We know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, so we can plug in 60 minutes for that hour plus 15 minutes of that extra time here. So 60 plus 15 is 75 minutes. So that's how long practice is in minutes. So if we add up these 3 values, we should get 75 minutes. So if we have 35 plus 30 plus 10 equals 35 plus 30 is 65, plus 10 more is 75. So our 75 matches here, meaning all of our time is used up, and that means that 35 minutes are spent on skill drills. So 35 minutes of skill drills. So that's using a number line to help us, okay? Next, for number 8, we're going to use an equation. So if you like the number line, this is a way to think about it, okay? But if you do better with equations, number 8 will be a great model to keep handy, okay? And if you have any questions on number 7, friends, please ask me, because 7, 8, and 9 basically mimic the questions you're doing on page 588, okay? So it's important you fill these out as a model, and if there's something you don't understand, you come and talk to me, okay? So number 8. Trevor has 1 hour and 15 minutes to practice for the school play. This is 3 times as long as it takes him to finish his homework. How long does it take Trevor to finish his homework? So first thing, we have to figure out how many minutes this is. It's always best to keep it in 1 unit. So we're going to transfer 1 hour and 15 minutes into just minutes altogether. And we already did that for this problem. So we already know that 1 hour, 15 minutes is equal to 75 minutes. Now, this time is 3 times as long as it takes him to finish his homework. So that's 3 times as long. That means we got to divide this number by 3 to figure out how long it takes him to finish his homework. Because they're saying in the problem, it takes longer for him to do the school play. It takes him 3 times as long to do the school play practice than it does to do his homework. So if we take our 75 and divide that by 3, we can get how long it took him to finish his homework. So 3 times what gets me close to 7, or 70. 3 times 20 would be 60. So if I do this, I have 5 and a 1 here, right? If I'm subtracting, so I keep going. 3 times what gets me close to 15 without going over? 3 times 5, and then I would have a remainder of 0. So how long does it take Trevor to finish his homework? It takes Trevor 25 minutes, so not even a half hour. So it takes Trevor 25 minutes to do his homework. And again, this may make more sense to you. The number line might be more helpful. It's all a matter of what kind of learner you are, okay? And if you have any questions, just please pause as you're working, okay? So number 9, Quaim spends 3/4 of an hour riding his bike in all. He spends 1/4 of an hour biking to the lake, 10 minutes biking around the lake, and the rest of the time biking home. How many minutes does he spend biking home? So he rides his bike for 3/4 of an hour in all. So 3/4 of an hour. Now, previously, we already figured out that 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So 15 times 3 will tell us how long in minutes he rode for. So 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So that means he rode his bike for 45 minutes. So 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. Now, he spent 1/4 hour biking to the lake. We already know 1/4 is 15 minutes, right? So 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. That's biking to the lake. 10 minutes biking around the lake. So this is to lake. This is around lake. And then we need to figure out home. So what we can do is add these 2 numbers to figure out how much time is spent going to the lake and around the lake. And then once we have that, we can subtract it from 45, and whatever the difference is, that's how long it took him to get home, because this time is already used up. Whatever the leftover of this 45 minutes is how much he needed to get home. So 15 plus 10 is 25, and then I'm going to take this number and subtract it from the total amount of time taken. So 45 take away 25, 5 take away 5 is 0, 4 take away 2 is 2. So that means it took Quam 20 minutes to get home. So that's our sentence to go with our solution. It took him 20 minutes to bike ride home. Okay, so again, these three problems are mimicking the problems you are doing on your own on page 588. So if you have any questions before you start, please ask me. If not, you are more than welcome to start and get page 588 done so you can show me either on our Google Meet or on Seesaw, okay? Again, these are the exact same type of problems, just different numbers. So use page 586 as a model, and I promise that will help you, okay? I'm here if you need me. Happy telling time with your word problems.